Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. Today I'm talking about facts about breakups and being dumped you need to know. So these are just a bunch of facts. I've got 5 of them here about breakups and being dumped that I believe that most people need to know when it comes to being dumped and breakups basically. So let's get into the first one, and that is people that get back together after a breakup usually break up again. Okay, so even if you want to get back with your ex, even if you do work things out with your ex, it's very likely that when you get back together, the same problems are still going to be there. Okay, and the breakup is going to happen again. Because what you need to realize about people is that people rarely change who they are. Now, you're watching an informative video like this one, so you probably are more willing to change who you are. You probably are more willing to basically, just change and be open to that, right? So that's a very admirable quality that you want to change. That you want to be you want to improve yourself. Okay, but most people aren't like that. They really aren't, and it's very likely that your ex is also one of those people. So if there was a lot of issues in the past, then those issues are probably still going to be there. If they've got things that they need to work on, they're probably always going to be there. Because what you need to do is you need to think about your ex and think of, okay, this person is probably always going to be like this, right? Up until they die, right? It's always best to assume that too, not assume that they're going to change, not hope that they're going to change. It's always better to take people at face value and just think that that's how they're going to be consistently throughout their life. It's just better to do that because, like I said, people are usually very unwilling to change. They're probably not like you, who is willing to change themselves, willing to learn, willing to grow. So when you get back together, the same problems are probably going to be there. Even if you change and you try and do your best, they're still going to have their issues, their problems. So that's just one of those things. That's why breakups tend to keep on happening. Now, you may get a couple that stay together for a while after breaking up and getting back together, but those issues are still there. Those problems are still there. And even if they do stick together, they're probably not very happy. Okay? So another fact about breakup and being dumped is a really interesting one. Now, it's not always the truth, but it is a lot of the time, surprisingly a lot of the time. And that is, when there's been a breakup, even if there was one that was the dumper and the dumpee, both usually wanted the breakup, right? It just happened to be that the dumper rather, was the first to do it. Okay, but if you think back on your relationship with this person, there may have been times where you were thinking, oh yeah, I miss my old life. You may have even been looking at other people as well, like, oh yeah, it'd be really nice to be in a relationship with that person, or I really fancy that person, you know? You kind of like half in. And that's usually the reality. Usually both people are wanting out of the relationship. And that's why it happens as well. It may not always be why it happens, but usually if a breakup happens, most of the time both people want it. It's just that one wants it more than the other, right? It may even be a flicker inside someone else and the other one wanted it more powerfully. But that's a really interesting fact that I found out over the years. Both usually wanted a way out. Not always, but usually both always wanted a way out, even if it was just a flicker, right, for the person that got dumped. So another fact about being about breakups and being dumped is being the dumpee usually makes you obsessed with the person that dumped you. So if you got dumped and you found that you started to become really obsessive over your ex, now I'm not saying obsessive as in you're stalking them, showing up at that house or things like that, although sometimes that can happen, which is quite kind of scary. But usually it makes you kind of obsess over the relationship, obsess over what you did wrong, makes you obsess over them, right? Thinking about how can I get this person back? Oh my god, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? To try and get them to like me again. It makes the dumpy obsessed, because there's a quote that I like by Tony Robbins. I think I heard it from him first, where he says, rejection breeds obsession. Right? So, and I think the reason why it breeds obsession is to do with the ego a little bit. Because you're like, oh my god, I got dumped, or this person doesn't like me even though I like them. Why? I'm amazing. And then you're kind of trying to prove the universe and that person wrong by winning them back. So you can sort of affirm to yourself, like, yeah, I am desirable, I am wanted. Right? So I think that sometimes feeds into that, why people become obsessed with their exes. And obviously, of course, as well, sometimes, you just didn't want to break up with them. You just didn't want it to end. And now you're still trying to figure out ways how to do that. So being the dumpy usually makes you obsessed. That's another fact that I've learned about breakups and being dumped. Another fact about breakups and being dumped is the dumper feels superior and more attractive, especially if the dumpee is chasing the dumper. Okay, so because the person that was doing the dumping said to the person that they dumped, like, look, I don't want to be with you anymore, I'm not interested in being with you anymore. And the person that got dumped is like, oh no, I want to be with you, please don't leave me. Right? It makes them feel good, it makes them feel wanted, it makes them feel desired, and therefore they feel more attractive, they feel more wanted. Okay, so one of the best ways that you can switch that up is by doing no contact, by not affirming to them that you still want to be with them anymore. That you still want to be with them, because if you're showing them that you still want to be with them, then they're going to feel that they are really super attractive. But if you don't do that and you don't show that you want to be with them anymore and you walk away and you do no contact, then you're doing the opposite of that. You're showing them that you're not interested in them anymore. And it can switch the dynamic around and make you appear to be the more attractive one. And now they're the one that has to chase you because you're no longer chasing. Because essentially that's it. The one who is doing the chasing is the one that is less attractive, the one that is more needy, the one that is more insecure. The one that isn't doing the chasing is the one that's more attractive. So that's the best weapon that you can have in your arsenal, to be someone that is doing no contact and things like that, because that's the best thing that you can do. Because it's going to make you more attractive. It's the best position to be in to get to get that dynamic to flip. Okay, it may not happen because they may be completely over you, may not want you at all. And if that's the case, then good riddance, because you don't want to be with someone who doesn't want you. Right? It's always best to leave that. Okay, you leave that be. If they don't want you, let it be. Just let it be. So the last fact I got here is that chasing after being dumped makes it worse. So if you are chasing your ex, if you're trying to resolve things, if you're begging, if you're pleading, if you're trying to make things work with them when they don't want it, it usually makes it worse. It usually makes you seem less and less attractive to them, and it makes them feel even more attractive and better than you. And it makes you look less desirable. So even if they did still have feelings for you, the fact that you didn't leave them alone and you were obsessing over them and you just kept on trying to make things work with them, ruined it, right? So chasing after being dumped usually makes it worse. It usually makes the person that dumped you even more less attracted to you, and you don't want that, especially if you want them back. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christinelovridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.